This is the question that has plagued the audio world for over a decade. Which mic should I buy for XYZ? Or which is the best mic for my voice? In this video, I'm going to show you why this is a stupid question, completely irrelevant, and what you should be doing instead. So that might come across a little harsh, but asking people which vocal microphone you should buy is a completely irrelevant question that nobody can answer reliably. Here's why. Every single person has got a completely different voice. And on top of that, the song that you are singing at one particular moment in time can have an influence on how you sound and the tonality. So what that means is every single microphone will sound different on different people and on different songs. So if you've got a singer that's got a really bright voice, maybe even quite sibilant in the S's, it's very likely that they are not going to sound great on a bright microphone. It's probably going to be excessively sibilant, harsh, maybe even quite piercing. Whereas a totally different singer that's got a more mellow voice, a darker voice, might sound great on that bright microphone. So there's no way that somebody on the internet can answer that question, which microphone should you buy for your voice, without at very least hearing it first. And even if you send them a recording, it's still not going to yield the most reliable results. If you are singing a hard rock song, you've got a microphone that sounds great for your voice. If you then switch out and sing something totally different, an acoustic singer-songwriter song, for example, that mic that you sounded great on a minute ago might not sound that good now. So unfortunately, there is no reliable answer to this question. And I hope you're starting to see now why asking this on the internet is kind of pointless. So what should you be doing instead? There's going to be many people watching this that have got absolutely no idea about different microphones. They're just starting out. They just want to record some demos, record some songs, but they want it to sound as good as possible. Well, then you've come to the right place, because I'm going to talk you through exactly what you should do, no matter what your budget is. So I've banged on about not asking people on the internet which microphone you should buy for your voice. And if people are telling you a specific make, a specific model, definitely take that with a pinch of salt. However, if you are just starting out and if you feel like you don't really know and you're kind of shooting in the dark here, it might be worth getting some recommendations. So putting a post out there or asking people for recommendations within your budget, whether you're prepared to spend 500, 1,000, 2,000, and getting some feedback, that might be a good idea because there is a lot of choice. So at this point, once you've got a few different options that are within your budget, you need to try them out. Now, a couple of options here. You could go to a local studio that has these microphones. You could ask the engineer if you could go for a few hours, one morning, one afternoon. Most engineers will accommodate that. Or even better, if you can find a retailer in your country that will let you buy them on sale or return so that you can try them in your own environment, that would be the best. In the UK, there are several amazing audio retailers that are happy to do this on, say, like a 7-day sale or return basis. They'll send you the microphone. If you don't like it, within 7 days, you can send it back for a complete full refund. That allows you to have a couple of days in the studio to try it out, sing into it, listen back, and decide if you like what you're hearing or not. And crucially, this is in your own environment. So if you can set that up, that is what I recommend. Now, when you are trying these microphones, what should you be listening for? Well, ultimately, you want to be listening for the one that just makes you feel good when you listen back to it. Sometimes you can't put your finger on what it is, but generally you know when you're listening back to something that sounds great. That is the best advice I can give you. However, what I'm going to do now is set up 4 different microphones, sing into each one, and then I'm going to show you how I would choose which microphone I would use for my vocal on this particular song. So let's get started. These mics cover quite a broad price range, from fairly inexpensive to really high-end and expensive. The first one that we're going to use is a Warm Audio 87. This is modelled off a Neumann U87 from the 70s or 80s. The second one we've got is a 251. This is also made by Warm Audio. This is modelled off the Telefunken 251, a classic vintage tube condenser microphone. We also have an AKG 414 XLS. This is a staple workhorse microphone in many studios, and AKG have been making microphones for decades. And finally, we have a U47. This is a classic microphone that dates back decades. So let's hear what each of those microphones sounds like, and then we'll analyze each one afterwards.
First time we met, I saw that look in your eyes, that smile and a stare. Now you got me hooked on you, baby. You made me think that it was gonna be fine, so I gave it all I got to make you mine. First time we met, I saw that look in your eyes, that smile and a stare. Now you got me hooked on you, baby. You made me think that it was gonna be fine, so I gave it all I got to make you mine. First time we met, I saw that look in your eyes, that smile and a stare. Now you got me hooked on you, baby. You made me think that it was gonna be fine, so I gave it all I got to make you mine. The first time we met, I saw that look in your eyes, that smile and a stare. Now you got me hooked on you, baby. You made me think that it was gonna be fine, so I gave it all I got to make you mine.
Okay, so there you've heard the 4 different microphones. All of them went through the same preamp, Neve 1073. Classic preamp, loads of clones available, some of which are very affordable. And there's even a ton of digital emulations of that preamp as well, so it's accessible to everybody. Now, to be honest with you, none of those takes sound bad. Some of them are definitely better suited than others, but even the ones that are not are usable. They're good enough. However, good is the enemy of great. There are 60,000 new songs uploaded to Spotify every single day. So, do you know what the last thing the world needs is? Another crappy sounding song. So, be better than that. Strive for greatness and aim to make your songs the best that they can possibly sound. So, when we're listening to these takes back, there's a couple of things we want to be listening for. Particularly, we want to be listening to the high end and the upper mids. Is it nice and smooth? Is it sibilant? Is there anything harsh and peaky going on? We also want to listen to the low mids as well, because if the low mids are lacking, the vocal is going to sound thin. And it's kind of like a seesaw. If the low mids are lacking, it might sound thin and harsh. But equally, if the top end is just way too present, then that can make your low mids sound thin. So we want a nice balance. Now, the first one I've got loaded up is the 251. Now, I didn't think this was the worst microphone at all. These are great microphones, but I also didn't think it was the best. Let's take a listen. I'm going to solo it.
First time we met, I saw that look in your eyes, that smile and a stare. Now you got me hooked on you, baby.
The issue I've got with this is, although that would work in the track, or we could make it work, for my voice, it's a little bit too bright. The S's are poking out a little bit too much. And if that's happening already, it's only going to get worse when we start to EQ and compress. So that's my reservations with that mic for my voice. Now let's jump to the 47.
The first time we met, I saw that look in your eyes, that smile and a stare. Now you got me hooked on you, baby.
Straight away, we can hear that the top end is smoother. That gives us somewhere to go now, and I'm confident that, yes, we can add some brightness with EQ and we can compress, and we're not going to run into sibilance issues. So, straight away between them two, I'm already favouring the 47. Let's have a listen to the 87.
First time we met, I saw that look in your eyes, that smile and a stare. Now you got me hooked on you, baby.
That sounds okay, but there's something happening in the upper mids that I don't like about this mic on my voice. And if we went with that microphone, we would definitely need to get FabFilter Pro Q3, notching out some high mid resonances, or maybe get Soothe 2 on it just to duck some of that out. So, not enjoying that one. Let's listen to the 414.
The first time we met, I saw that look in your eyes, that smile and a stare. Now you got me hooked on you, baby.
That one's pretty good. I do like a 414. The low mids are intact. The high mids are not as peaky as the 87, but it's nice and bright. It's got some of the brightness from the 251. So after listening to them all side by side, I think I would rank it first the 47, second the 414, then the 251, really, really close between those two, and then in fourth place the 87. So let's now take the 47, which was my preferred choice, Let's do a little bit of processing to it. Let's see how it reacts when we start to EQ and compress. So here's some EQ. I'm also going to patch in the 1176 Blueface, and let's play.
The first time we met, I saw that look in your eyes, that smile and a stare. Now you got me hooked on you, baby. You made me think that it was gonna be fine, so I gave it all I got to make you mine. The first time we met, I saw that look in your eyes, that smile and a stare. Now you got me hooked on you, baby. You made me think that it was gonna be fine, so I gave it all I got. The first time we met, I saw that look in your eyes, that smile and a stare. Now you got me hooked on you, baby. You made me think that it was gonna be fine, so I gave it all I got to make you mine. The first time we met, I saw that look in your eyes, that smile and a stare. Now you got me hooked on you, baby. You made me think that it was gonna be fine, so I gave it all I got to make you mine. Time we met, I saw that look in your eyes, that smile and a stare.
So that right now is sounding really good. We've added some brightness at 10K. We've added some mids, some upper mids at around 4.5, and also a little bit of the telephone frequency around 1 to 2K, and a big chunk of lows. We can afford to do that with this mic because it sounds great, and then we're just filtering some of the subs off. We're compressing quite heavily. This is a hard rock song, so we're taking about 10 dB of compression off. Let's add a little bit of reverb, see where that takes us. We've got a 480 plate loaded in.
The first time we met, I saw that look in your eyes, that smile and a stare. Now you got me hooked on you, baby. You made me think that it was gonna be fine, so I gave it all I got to make you mine.
So for me, that is a great sounding vocal. We've got brightness without excessive sibilance. In fact, there's no de-essing on this at all. To be honest, I don't think it really needs any. We've got big lows. It sounds thick, and it's taking the EQ and the compression really well. We've sat it right up in front of the mix by compressing heavily, and it sounds great. If we were to do some of those moves with these other microphones, particularly the 87, those high mids are going to cause issues. So that microphone, if I was choosing one of these microphones to buy right now, the 87 would be straight back. The 251 and the 414, they sound okay. We probably would run into some sibilance, and you're probably going to have to de-ess. That's fine. This happens. But for me, the 47 just rules the roost here. It's a great sounding microphone, and out of all the others, the 414 is a classic. The 251 is one of the best microphones ever made, but the 47 wins. 47 is also a classic microphone, so that is the one I would go with, and that is the process that you should go through to choose which mic is best for you. So if you are a singer-songwriter or an artist releasing music, it's very likely that one of your biggest struggles is making money from your music. Many artists that I speak to tell me that it feels like a constant uphill struggle to even break even when it comes to the music, and that can be really frustrating. Now, to help with this, I created the music monetization checklist. The reason I created this is because the landscape for making money from music has changed dramatically, particularly over the last 5, 10, 15 years. What used to work then just does not work now. And in order to be successful at this, then you need to know exactly how the music industry works today. Not 5 years ago, not 10 years ago, right now. This checklist will give you the very best avenues of making money from your music, and also educate you in how you can set up multiple streams of income, all using your music, so that you can start to not just break even, but make a profit and maybe even do this full time. Many artists that I've worked with have gone on to do just that. So if this is a goal for you too, then download the music monetization checklist. The link is in the description below, and it's completely free. Check it out.